The blue line is moving slowly. Oh, there we go.
So weird, I don't know, maybe you
Yeah.
don't want anything past 2 individuals on the same account.
Oh, yeah, maybe it's starting to like, right.
Charge.
Alright,
Alright,
so
so
now I should just be able to let this ride in the background.
yeah.
I have to leave this window open.
Yes, leave that window open and make sure that the video is muted. Otherwise, it's going to start playing through your speaker.
Oh, like that?
Yeah, like on the YouTube video. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, okay. Now I'm just gonna shrink that one down and forget about it.
Yep.
That was my issue.
All right, wonderful. Okay, well, should we go for it?
Sure.
All right, we've got the Zoom going and the recording going. We're gonna call together our bluff planning and zoning work session for August 20th, 2026. The time is 6:07 p.m. We're gonna start with roll call. I'm Brian Whitney, Vice Chair, acting as Chair, and Malia's web since. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Marcia Hayden Pope.
Malia
Ann
Collins.
Brown, sorry.
We got them both. We got Ann Brown and Malia speaking at the same time. And then we have an excused absent from Tom Heiserod tonight. And the town staff?
Erin Nelson, serving as town manager for the time being. If I have to run, I will make it known. And then it's not officially on the agenda, but I wanted to introduce you all to Charmaine Sandoval, our new note taker and ADA compliance coordinator. We're very excited to have her online. Online is in the town of Bluff and virtually here taking notes.
No, really here, not.
And so I was gonna send you a thing with everyone's names so you can get like the spellings and everything. But I did tell Charmaine as she was, getting started in the note taking, she is welcome to interrupt and ask us to repeat stuff until she gets real familiar. So, Charmaine, do you want to say anything? I always put you on the spot, but.
Thanks for welcoming me. I'm really excited to learn about the planning and voting committee and take notes and giving to know each and every one of you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Great. Well, welcome. And thank you for being here. We're excited to have another member of an amazing town staff. Really awesome. So tonight we are gonna start. Let's see, we've got 3 different agenda items that we're gonna try to make our way through. The first being the update and discussion amongst the commissioners on the zoning code revisions that we have all been looking at together for the last few months. Let's see. Was there anything, I'm just curious, Malia, was there anything in particular that you wanted to go over on it today, or do you want to just keep maybe
I think it's just keep moving along. Yeah, I know
Alright.
that at our last meeting, we were talking about the combination of, were we still in agriculture? Or were we back into commercial? I don't remember how far we made it.
briefly touched on commercial, I believe. And we had
Okay.
sort of, I think, decided that we needed to move on a little bit from the agricultural discussion, right? We had kind of gotten bogged down in that, so we moved on a little bit. Let me share this, see if I'm doing this correctly.
I can see it.
Is it up on
Ditto.
Okay, great. Where did it go on my screen? It's like it's using like a normal computer. Sorry, here we go. There we go.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, I am.
I have a question because of the particular area that I was to look into, but it relates to everything. If everything we do has to first adhere to the Utah codes, is there a reason, and this is a really, I don't know question because maybe this isn't obvious, but could we just copy and paste what is the Utah code for all these different things that we're going through so that we are compliant with Utah code, which is an absolute?
Who wants to answer that? I mean, I can try if you
Yeah,
I can take a stab.
go,
Let's-
why don't, Erin, why don't you go at from the
yeah,
management point of view, and then I'll give a little if you don't hit what I thought. Go.
Okay, so if I heard correctly, and you were asking, there's Utah code out there, why don't we just copy and paste it into ours? So specifically for zoning code, now there are plenty of ordinances in which I think referring to state code, perfect, really simplifies things. So I'm gonna hit this with a two-pronged approach. So first prong is, copying, pasting directly into our code creates issues down the line anytime the state code gets updated. So it is good to reference the code if you want to do so. So you can say, we reference the code. I wouldn't even sometimes go as far as to like label like the
Number.
the number, anything, because that changes so
Yeah.
often in state code. However, there are some things, especially like health and human safety things, that like probably it might just be easier to say we're referring to state code. However, for zoning code specifically, if it's not related to health and human safety and it is a town of Bluff issue, and I think a lot of zoning is issues, it is almost always, I shouldn't put any kind of qualifier on this. It's really good to utilize our town reasoning as to why we're putting code in place. So we should be looking at the issues on a local level. This is one of the very few areas I feel like sometimes the state of Utah lets the local authorities provide rule. And so the purpose of the zoning code really is, okay, at the local level, what are the issues that we all think collectively are issues, and how do you want to go about addressing them, whether we're regulating, not regulating, what you add and don't add. Like local control is the heart of zoning code. That's why the Planning and Zoning Commission is, in addition to like incorporating the municipality, you have to have a town council, you also have planning and zoning specifically for this issue. So I would really encourage you all to say, is this a town of Bluff issue? Excellent, let's address it. Or if it's not, then just kind of, either refer to the state code or go from there.
Okay, thanks.
I agree, yeah, I agree with everything Erin just said, and the only thing I would add to it is to say, we do in fact plan to steal stuff from the state code, particularly when it comes to definitions and things that are concrete. And I think that goes along with what Erin said. This is not concrete, this is local, ever changing. And so while the state said, they often say, you may have an ADU, but it must meet your codes. So you have to let people have an ADU, but we have to write the codes for those ADUs. So that's a good example of saying, follow the law, but do it our way. So that's, you said it. I'm just adding. No, that's perfect.
sounds good now. All right, in that case, then I think we should launch right back into what we were looking at last time, which the last comment that we made was we were looking at C1. Does that seem like a good spot to pick back up?
Yeah.
The last comments look like we were considering combining 2 and 3 into a single commercial district. Cause a lot of the uses of them seem to overlap, and then leaving C1 as its own distinct.
And I think, Brian, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely,
I'm
please.
sorry.
Yeah, please.
The idea to me is what we need to do, hopefully pretty quickly here, is just check our uses that are allowed.
Yeah.
And if C1 has a bunch of stuff, then C2 and 3 allow that. Plus what we had C2 and C3, we want to make sure we've split it up well. In other words, we have a simple C1 and a little more complicated C2-3, if that's what we intend to do.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I think C1 is pretty simple here and a good idea. It's daycare, it's
Right.
public buildings, it's government, whatever it is.
Yep.
So it's the C2 and C3. Can we take a couple of C2s, add them to C1? Or should we keep C2 and C3 to, just looking at use? And in particular, we've talked about, we have to look at the maps too. Because there's only a little bit of C1.
yeah,
And maybe it needs to be C1 coming down a little further. And C2 and C3 going out, whatever.
We also have duplicates there. I mean, we have religious facilities, which to me is the same as places of worship. I mean, you start getting into these little boobahs where it just seems
Yeah.
redundant.
So there you go. Go ahead and put a line through those kinds of things right now so we catch it.
yeah, I mean, would that be? Is that also, are places of worship different than fraternal, religious, or recreational meeting facilities? How are those different than
Yeah,
government, like,
no, not government.
no, I know, public buildings,
Public.
or I guess does public imply,
Right,
like,
I would say that's something we should put a line through and then look up the definitions on, because
Yeah.
the good news is with this version, we're not actually getting rid of any of the words, we're just putting lines through. And that can remind us to look back.
And RV parks as well. I mean, to me, everything in this A paragraph, to me, it all fits into the same category as the ones in C1.
I can edit, Brian, you're good.
you got it, okay, I don't.
I got it.
Are you in reviewing mode or edit mode?
reviewing.
You're in review, right? I'm just
I
curious
should-
how, anyway, never mind, I don't need to learn how to do this right now, I should be better at editing. That's cool.
And Brian, would you bring down
Yep.
your copy to C1 for a second? Because I see what
C1
Ann
right here?
is saying. Yeah, so if we say C1 says places of worship and it says RV parks. And then C2 says allowed includes all of C1. And then again says religious and RV parks. So Ann's right, we've
Yeah,
got a lot
yeah.
of
Yeah,
So I don't care about the religious one, because I think that does go with, a church could be in a
Sure.
residential area, I mean, a commercial one. But RV parks, I think we talked about. See how we ended up with both of those?
yeah,
Are C1 and C2, which means C3 is, yeah, oh, that's.
yeah, it's
good
like
que-
half of that is just copy and pasted, it almost seems, the RV parks. Mobile home parks,
Maybe well, it doesn't, yeah, C.
Yeah, so in that
Because-
case, we could just delete that last portion because it's everything that is listed in C1, including.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
just to
there-
shorten it, just
There
remove
you
that.
go. That's what it is.
strike it,
But my
Okay.
question is, why do we have to have two of these that are, I mean, why have two districts when they're practically the same thing? I guess I just don't understand it. If we're trying to simplify, why not just make one commercial C1 district and put these things in there? I mean, it just seems silly.
Well, and I think it's because there are much more, there are many more things in C2 and C3 than in C1. And if we have them all, that's fine. If we all talk about it and decide to do that, no problem.
Yeah.
But the original thought was breaking up the amount of usage you could have. Just for example, didn't we say you could have in C1, can you sell gasoline in C?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which seems crazy with libraries. I mean, I guess my concern is down the road, if we're trying to simplify this and 5 years from now, someone comes in and says say they want to put in a auto repair store. To me, that is, those kinds of usage should be in a category all to themselves, because I look down on C3 and it says RV parks again. I mean, it just seems like the whole thing is,
Would you go to see?
Yeah, C3
we
has the
really,
same.
we should have very specific, C3 looks like much bigger things,
Right.
bigger entities, and the first two are small businesses, essentially, for the
We-
most
And Anne, I
part.
think that's a great way to actually break it up in our brains and also to think about as we're referencing it to a map, which I think will help it to make more sense, because currently our C2 and our C3 are obviously in different zones within our map.
Yeah.
Let me,
I
And
think that
so,
I think the RV park stuff, by the way, is just, we cut and paste this incorrectly. We didn't mean to say it that way. And
yeah, it shouldn't have been included in each district. That was something we missed with that last revision. Or that quick revision at the end of last year. But I think that's a good point, Anne. It might be worth, because C3 is, you can only, if you're in C3, can you do this? If you're C1, C2, or C3, you can do anything that's in C1. So I think I know where your head's at, that it would make sense to add gas station to C3, because it is going to be potentially one of our we could make it one of our most restrictive, almost like if you were to lay them out in least restrictive to most restrictive. That's not what I'm trying to say. Basically, C3 would then flood into F1. The next largest thing after C3 would be F1. Like our factory industrial, I mean.
Right.
Does that make sense? Is that what you're kind of thinking, Anne? That C3 should
Yeah,
be
but
more restrictive?
yes, for sure. And again, to me, I don't like the word industrial, because I hope we don't ever have anything industrial here.
Well, we
But
currently don't have anything zoned for it, so we're in good shape still.
yeah, exactly. But then why have it if we're not gonna put it on the map and make it something? We just don't allow it.
no, you can't,
End of story.
no, I don't think you can do that.
That
I
might be
think
where the
that's-
Utah zoning code comes in, is that we have to at least have it defined, or at least have uses, so that it would be easier if someone wanted to add a factory industrial. We at least said, this is what it would have to be, and they would just have to say, I want my parcel to be factory industrial, and go through that
Right.
process.
I see.
Or name some on the map, but
yeah, right.
I think, Anne, that what you're stating is what we actually already have. We have simple, medium, and hardcore, if you will, in our commercial. And we're saying maybe we've divided it up too much.
Yeah.
And maybe C2 gets split.
Yeah.
C2, some goes into C1 and some goes down to C3, and then we just have two commercial districts, one medium and one
Yes.
well done.
Yes. Excellent.
Because you're right, we definitely had it that way, light to more difficult, or
Yeah.
restrictive, as Malia was saying. I think that's very true. But if you look at the map now, that's what's fascinating about this. Virtually everything here is C3, right? And the C2, what's the light purple? Where's the
The
little?
C1 is light purple, and then the C2 is the blue along.
Ah, okay,
I believe.
that's right. Okay, good. So light purple, there's only one or two. There's that one and one up above.
Yeah, there's this one right in here.
Yeah, in there, which is bizarre.
What is that?
I don't know where that is.
Is that?
Is that above Cemetery Hill, kind of?
It's below.
The light purple, our
Yeah.
C1.
Yeah, this
That's the transfer station, or not the
That's okay,
transfer
that's-
station, the electric transfer.
electric, that's the,
The
right,
electric,
right,
yeah,
that's the
Okay.
big power setup,
the
okay.
power station, good.
Yeah,
Okay, so when, I can tell you when listening to the original town council do this. The C3 didn't need to be much because we don't have much utility and other things like that that they were concerned. The C1 or C2 rather and C3 was a big discussion with them, and the blue was lining the front of Main Street. But the purple was allowing more use lining Main Street. So, for example, hotels was a big discussion for them. It was, hey, there aren't any hotels that would, or where can more hotels go kind of discussions. So I don't know what the new council's thinking. I think we just make a recommendation based on our list of uses divided into 2 instead of 3 zones. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, my only question is from the map, what are those distinctions? Like once, because I think that C2 splitting usages, I guess we just have to look at C2 and see what,
Right.
I guess just in terms of where those are located, why would we,
Right.
because it abuts the residential half of town, essentially,
Yeah.
is that was the logic, I'm assuming?
Yeah. but
yeah,
so
from
does-
chatting with
So what's
previous,
been, like, it's like, yeah, exactly, I mean, like, so there's all that stuff on the west side of town, so is that just a privilege that us on the east side get?
I
that
think
we
the
have-
goal was because Black Locust is the plan to be our like main street, is that if by having C2 lining that street, we will encourage more of those small businesses and encourage more of those sit down and maybe grab a bite to eat and then pop over here and go to this little shop or type of mindset, because we already have the fort right there, we have the library right there. And so that was kind of the mindset, with maybe slowing things down and making that more of a touristy or locals area. Whereas the C3 is along 191, the highway, and that's just more of a hotels or larger restaurants. Based on conversation with the original planning and zoning.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing, I'm just trying to think like what, so then if that blue, if that C2 section is then sort of. In a way, that sort of sound like if we were to follow that, in the spirit of that thought. That C2 would probably want to fall into C1, and that would be the more restrictive of the two. So we would kind of think of that as the divider, but then I'm also like, should we be doing the same things for all the areas that are right next to all these? Like dense residential areas, or is it just about that downtown stretch? Does that make
That's a good
sense?
question. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a great thing to ponder as we look at our maps. I think it's
Well,
important to pay attention to it, but I also don't want to get caught in the weeds of refining the code and the maps at the same time. It might be better to do one and then revisit the other and then kind of refine. But that's just a suggestion so that we don't get bogged down 2 different directions.
Yeah. But the map and the code in this case go hand in hand, don't they?
Oh, for
Because
sure.
we
Yeah,
can't, if we're taking it from 3 commercials down to 2, we have to then define what's each one on the map,
Yeah.
right? Assume those
Yeah.
have to happen at the same time.
right.
But it's a good, yeah, but it doesn't mean we need to get bogged down on that conversation tonight too, but. Yeah.
So should
And
we
to-
just the uses?
Yeah, I like
Sorry,
that.
Malia,
Go
go
back.
ahead.
Do you want me to go back to the red line?
Wait,
So we can
Malia
look
was
at,
gonna let Malia finish.
oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
to quickly note on that, I agree that C2 should become C1 and then we redefine that. And then
Cool.
the 3 C1 lots just become C2 and then C3 becomes C2, which I know it sounds like we're saying a lot of the same thing, but we're not.
No, I think that makes total sense to me.
No,
Yeah,
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good,
so then we will just kind of keep in the spirit of trying to keep that
right,
kind of downtown, Main Street thought in our, this is my
Right.
doing it. Great, I'm gonna go back to the red line. said now.
Okay,
Cool, so we wanna look at C2 here and C1? We already.
so let's just read real quick. Go to C1 and what is it? It's pretty basic. It's, if you
Oh,
go up
sorry.
to, there we go.
There we go.
Okay. Automotive repair light, which would be like the little bay in a gas station as
Yeah.
opposed to. Okay, and then motor vehicle fuel and retail sales, trading posts, galleries, offices, professional service, daycare, libraries, mortuary, funeral. Public buildings or government services, police, fire, emergency, parks, places of worship, public utility facilities, restaurants, RV parks, mobile home parks, residential dwellings, accessory dwellings, and short-term rentals subject to the short-term rules. Now go to 2 and see what we can put in with those,
Yeah.
right? Can we put
So-
in,
I'm sorry, but I can't be so picky, but dispensing fuel,
gas
that says gas station to me.
well, we have gas
and-
stations.
I mean, who else dispenses fuel?
AmeriGas. If AmeriGas came to town and built their little stand where they fill up the tanks.
Yeah,
I
I guess
would-
like a propane.
I wouldn't
dispenser.
want them in C1. I mean, that just seems like there's a lot of.
Yeah,
too
I agree
open.
with Anne.
I would
I
put
think
that
that
in the,
put that into the-
new C2.
Yeah. Wouldn't affect anything too, because if all the C3 is gonna be C2 and fuel dispensing goes into C2. The vast majority of the commercial space is still C2 and. Sure,
Yeah, a lot of the
Let's see.
things in C2, I would rather see in our future C1.
yeah, a bunch of those C2 ones I know, right? I was thinking like group homes or care facilities, gyms and physical fitness centers. Training facilities, museums or public cultural facilities, I mean, all those things. Maybe not hospitals, but maybe a hospital should go in C3 because it's kind of a large object, but
Right.
So put that, so those would all go to the C1.
yeah.
And then C2 would start with the fuel that dispenser that we took out of 1. And it would add anything in or most things in 3 when we get there in a minute.
Yeah, I think that also looking at the map, that wouldn't be a radical change because all those. The fuel dispensing, I mean, it's already in that space, so. I can get behind the idea that we wouldn't wanna, we're not trying to get another fuel. No,
No, but someone.
I know, but you're right, and I'm also like, why, well, yeah, no, I hear you. There wasn't so much C3 land around already, I would be less. So that's that C1, that new C1 is gonna be a pretty.
A little
small
mellower.
strip.
We just want
Yeah.
it to look a little mellower. is
Just a
what we
little
want.
less, yeah,
And
To
it would
confirm, we
be-
want to keep rehabilitation centers, hospitals, and clinics in the future
I feel like
C2.
yeah, that's what I would
Okay.
say.
Okay,
Those are
just wanted to
kinda
make sure.
hard. I
Yes.
mean, there's still a lot of real estate in the
Yeah.
future C2, and boy, a hospital or clinic plopped right down there would be a real change to the downtown vibe that people are envisioning.
Right.
Right.
So then what are we
But
thinking
at
about
the same
RV
time,
parks?
Clinic would be a pretty good.
The
I know.
clinic is threatening to come because the UNHS system has told us, and you would know better than I, that they have built everywhere but Bluff
Yeah, right.
and that we're still on the
Yeah,
list.
I
don't
mean, clinic to me feels different than rehab
Yes.
and hospital. I mean, rehab center is such a strange.
But
But
I
like
have to tell you, sorry, I'm sorry. When we were buying our property, that triangle in front of us, we were told back then, by some people who were theoretically in the know, that the hospital in Monticello was going to build a clinic there on that triangle in front of us, which is commercial. And we were cool with that because we were told it would be single story, it wouldn't be open at night, it wouldn't be an emergency thing, blah, blah, blah. So to me, a clinic of any sort or a rehab center, which might, I think it has to be in commercial, because I think if they're going to build something like that, they're gonna build it big enough for it to actually accommodate their entire population, which of course is mostly gonna be on the res, and has to be big enough to, let's say it looks like Montezuma Creek Clinic. Only one story.
So are you saying C1 or C2?
C2,
saying-
the new C2.
Okay.
And you're
Well,
saying
I-
that for clinic as well as hospital and rehabilitation center. Keep all
Yes,
three of
ma'am.
those in the future C2.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Sorry, I
comfortable
mean,
with that.
using Mussey as the clinic example, I'm like, that's a pretty big building.
It
And
is.
I don't think, yeah, I guess you don't know what's gonna show up here.
No.
I think clinic should stay in C1 and the
Yeah.
rest should go to C2, but I'm not going to
I'm with
put up a
Marsha.
fight.
I'm kind of with Marsha on that one.
I think we
clinic is-
should write it that way and
Yeah.
see how it looks when we're done with the map, and then go, yeah.
The
So
other hypothetical that I would put forward to support Marsha's thinking is that. A clinic could also mean like a single medical provider opening an office. And like if someone were to build a mixed use development building on one of these empty lots. And someone
Absolutely.
and there was an NP or
Yeah.
a doc who wanted to come and just run a private
absolutely,
clinic, I mean, that could be an incredibly low key thing that we would have just blocked. So I like keeping clinic, the word just clinics, and then the other, because clinic implies kind of outpatient and implies, so,
we could use the word outpatient clinic, or we could use the word
yeah, I mean, if that's,
providers,
yeah,
medical provision.
Yeah, that's my thought as well. For thinking about the brick, thinking about the old elementary school renovation, because it is going to be based on our current, a future, it'll be a C1. And so if
Yeah.
this is also helping to determine what can be in that building, that has definitely been in discussions of, it would be really great to bring a provider in to use one of those classrooms or to use one of those spaces.
yeah, exactly. I think that's a good, keep that language in the C1 and then move hospital and rehabilitation center. That term is too big for C1.
Yeah.
That could mean, that could mean an inpatient
Yeah,
rehabilitation
right,
center, that could be a
right.
nursing home, that could be a drug rehabilitation
Right,
center. I think that should be moved down, because we'll just keep that in C2, yeah,
seafood, right,
yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
cool. Yeah,
My
yeah.
question on uses is RV parks, mobile home parks in
Always going
C1.
there.
Go away with the
I just
alley.
love them. I just want them to be
Always
everywhere
that.
and nowhere. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Just wondering if that would be too, like, if we're thinking, as we're thinking of C1 district, we are thinking of this downtown feel. And with how many future C2s we have, it might make more sense for RV parks and mobile home parks to live in the future C2 than in all of commercial districts. I'm
Okay.
easily persuaded on this one, but I do just want to have the discussion.
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
completely understand what you're saying. My not problem, our challenge will be the map that accompanies that. Because, you're right, let's take the RV park and mobile home park, put it in the new C2 and nowhere else. And see how that fits on the map flow, which is
Yeah.
most of that whole area. So I don't have a problem with that.
So I have a question related to that. In any of these situations, if something exists and it now is in a different zone, is it grandfathered in? Obviously, it's grandfathered in there. We're not going to say Coral Sands or Cadillac. You got to leave. You got to move.
Oh, they're all good.
Yeah.
They're all,
Okay. Just want a clarification.
yeah, this is great. This is exactly what we need to do. Let's end up with only two and divide these
I
extra
don't
things.
mind not having it in that C1. I'm just thinking about how. As much as I'm not into the idea of restricting usages that much. I do also just like. I guess my thought would be that if that's the goal, and that has been sort of a developmental. Goal for the town and. You shoehorn like, I just think of those, big empty lot over there that gets purchased up and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, we
You
got
know,
another,
yeah, and then all of a sudden there's another RV park there, or I'm just thinking about some of the other. Development, some of the tourism development that has happened around San Juan County, it's not that crazy to think that someone could do
Yeah.
that. And it would be nice to preserve. Some of that open space, not for that, but
can someone remind me, what did we do about RV/mobile home or whatever in agricultural? Did we end up doing some or no, not some?
I think we kind of left the discussion on that one of, let's see where we put it elsewhere
yeah.
and,
Okay.
and we'll revisit
Because-
it, just so it's, yeah, because that was definitely a discussion point.
Yeah.
Was,
And
is it
that-
still agriculture if we have an RV park in it? So it's one we wanted to revisit.
Okay, so having said that, what if we take it out of C1,
Yeah,
leave it in C2? And revisit agriculture later to see if it fits part of that description.
I love
like
it.
that idea.
Okay,
Alright, I'm just gonna
So
do
should
a
we-
quick time.
yeah,
Sorry, I'm just trying to do it as the. De facto timekeeper, I'm just looking at the time, it's 6:42. Do we wanna wrap up talking about this the next couple minutes and then we'll move on to our next
yeah,
thing, just so we can touch base on everything?
because we have another meeting at 7 if we want to listen to Blanding.
No, my
that's
goodness,
right.
you're right. So, no, actually, okay, then why don't, does anyone have any more? I feel like we did a good job sort of splitting up C1 and C2 for the day. That was a pretty good. Good way to, I think it was a good way to think about it and a good way to kind of rehash it, so.
Okay,
Does
Yeah,
anyone have any more things, or do we wanna move on to the next?
that sounds
Agenda.
great. Just a quick,
Yeah.
let's divide uses and C3 at our next meeting and then start going into setbacks and building height. So I'm gonna make a note of that just so that we know where to start next time, if
perfect.
that's what you guys,
Perfect. Yeah,
okay.
Excellent.
alright, so we should do 3 next time.
Okay,
And we'll put this on, assuming
yeah,
we'll
next
touch this. in the
agenda is C3 plus setbacks and what?
Plus setbacks and height,
Okay,
just thinking about our.
yep. Okay,
Alright, so then, moving on. Let's move to our second agenda item today, which is the discussion of a public input session for the zoning code revisions, which is happening on the 17th of September. At 5 PM, and then the requested joint meeting, that's a meeting right now, a work session. We're meeting on the 8th, it says, right? Is that still up for debate?
So it sounds like we're going to have multiple council members off of that meeting. They won't be available. So the proposal is actually to move it to the 15th.
Okay,
So that's 2 days before. What does that look like for availability for you all?
I'm a no on the 15th.
No, they.
I have to recheck, I think I'm fine, but I just need to double check, I think I'll be. I'm not gonna lie, I'll look, I think I said to you both were fine, right, Malia, when we first talked?
Yes.
I don't think anything has changed since then, so. I just don't. have
So
the
my
calendar.
only concern is what are we anticipating in less than a month to have everything presentable to
Feels a little
initially
early.
the town council on the, if it is the 15th?
No, I don't believe
No.
that the goals to have that fully presentable by then. These are like, oh, sorry, no, you go.
Oh, you're good. I was just gonna say, no, our goal is just to show the council where we're going and make sure that we're going on the right path, because it would be a bummer to make our way all the way through just for them to say, actually, we really like the zoning code or something else.
Okay,
So it's just, and that's what we're also gonna be doing with the public is, hey, here's some of the revisions that we've made. Are we on the right track? Does this make sense to you guys? We will have an official public hearing once our revisions are done. But we do just want to make sure that everyone is heard.
Well, first of all, I loved the poster, the flyer. The draft flyer was adorable, like, hey, you, what do you want? And it's, you know, people, but I want to make sure that when in fact we do this, that's what we say to people. Come now, because you're gonna tell us later that,
Yeah.
you know, that you didn't like it, but you gotta come now, and some written time frame, I would assume, a little bit of, you
Yes.
can
yeah.
submit
Yeah.
for the
10
next
days,
10 days or whatever, okay. And that's the first thing. The second thing is, I'm a little concerned that we don't quite have enough to show them, because we only have one actual meeting left to go before that happens. And I'm fine, I'll do whatever we decide, because we sort of set that date, but we're gonna have a messy look for that. Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry, that would be-
yeah.
Anyway.
I think
whatever,
that's a really good point, Marcia,
I
because we
just-
haven't even made it through the zones. We don't have much of a map amendment to show.
Well, Malia, so it was Josh who reached out to you to kind of coordinate. What was his direction on this? Was it town council wanted to have a view before anything was presented to the public so they could make adjustments prior? Or was it just a, hey, heads up, here's what's coming down the pipeline? What was the direction as to what specifically he was looking for with this coordination meeting?
That's a good question. I think it was the latter. I think he was just looking for the council to get eyes on it before the public did. Not necessarily to say, get rid of this, get rid of that, but just so that the council was more in tune with the document in case the public was asking them questions at the same time that they were asking us.
So just from a PR standpoint, my concern is that people are going to come to this with the expectation that they're going to see something that, and if we present it as, we want your input, we want you to know what we're doing, and we kind of look like loosey-goosey. Who are, like, why are we here kind of thing? That's my concern, and it's, as I've been doing my assignment, that's, I thought, wow, my little bit, I can see all kinds of issues. And so if I had to make even a slight presentation of 1 minute about that, I'd be embarrassed. So my concern is it worth at this point with, as you know, as Marcia was saying, one meeting, should we just say, hey, guys, we're going to do this in November or what, whenever. I'm just throwing something out so that we look a little more organized.
I'm agreeing with you, Anne. I'm a little concerned. What I don't mind actually, though, is Malia's point that we go talk to the town council in a little meeting, because town council, this is on the list of things P and Z has to do, is update our codes, but does town council know that's what we're doing and why and how? So I don't mind the idea that we should meet with those guys and say,
Correct.
look how we come. But I'm wondering if we postpone the public part until October, November, whatever, that's, yeah, to be determined. But I'm kind of with Anne that we've got nothing to show.
Brian, what do you think?
Oh, I think you all present great points. I definitely would say that. I don't know how effective, I guess, yeah, that's a good point, that with one more meeting. I also would not be totally convinced that we would present something that would be very efficient towards getting feedback. I think there are ways to do it where we could take some of our ideas and distill them down to different ways of presenting them. However, I'm not totally sure that we're even at that moment in terms of congealing I think with another work session, we We probably need a work session that would be dedicated just to figuring out how to present our ideas to them.
Yeah,
And I think that. Yeah,
Yeah.
without, short of that, I think I agree. I do definitely
Yeah.
agree. I definitely wanna keep the. The joint meeting, because I think it's important to get. Or, I mean, maybe it doesn't have to be that exact date. If, but just in the near future so that we can get feedback from them, because I also think.
well,
Those are always really valuable
they
meetings.
are, you should be
For sure.
sooner than later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
before we get too far down, and
Yeah.
then they're all like, what the heck are you all doing?
Yeah,
So.
okay. I think that's
gotta-
great. Well, let's cancel that 17th meeting and postpone it to later in the year when we have more to show.
I'm happy to change the date on the poster to whatever date.
Ooh,
can read
thanks, Brian.
So sorry if I incurred a $1 cost for that clip art. But we can keep that clip art. We have rights to that clip art.
Yeah,
you paid
Yeah.
for clothes.
I think those are great points.
I'll
Thanks, everybody.
volunteer to run and pull it off the post office.
Did I read
Perfect.
the post office? Oh dear, okay. we
It's
need
only
to
been up for a few days though. It hasn't been.
Yeah.
put it up.
But,
Or we can put a big postpone
oh yeah, we
sticker.
could put just a cancel.
Yeah, no, postpone,
Oh,
postpone sticker across it, cause then it looks like, we're still doing our work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Postpone.
take a red Sharpie and write postponed across it. There's
Postponed.
3 of them. Community Center, Post Office, and KNC.
Ah,
Is that, it's, okay,
okay.
cool. Okay,
So maybe we should move on to our third topic this evening.
sure.
Well,
Discussion.
wait a minute. What day are we going to the town council?
Oh.
The
good
15th.
question, yeah.
For sure, the 15th. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
It is not an option, it sounds so.
I don't think you'll get, I mean, if the purpose is,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Yeah.
if only 3 of the 5 are there, I
No,
think you'll.
better to have.
Okay, I'll miss the 15th, but I know the team can do it with that. They'll probably feel better.
All right, number 3 on our agenda is the discussion of updated form. We were all given a list of P and Z forms that needed to be looked over. We're given a checklist to just kind of look against. And we were going through ours. My guess is realistically, we're not getting through this whole list in the next short period of time. I don't know if there's if there is a 30,000 foot overview that anybody wants to say. I mean, is there anybody?
I haven't done my homework yet.
Yeah, perfect. There we go. You're off the hook.
Okay, well then I will take a minute.
Cool.
I did some homework. I did the
Yeah.
sign one. And the sign permit needs some stuff. But what it gives for the, what'd you call it, the overview,
Yeah, 30,000.
30,000 foot overview
Yeah.
is a direction to our esteemed manager and her new compliancy person
Oh,
is changing all of the the .orgs to .govs
yeah.
and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord, I
Yeah.
thought those were all done on there.
That I found
No.
.gov now.
Same thing on the 2 that I looked at.
There you
They had
go.
the old letterhead and the old
That's
address.
All letterhead and, yeah,
Yeah,
so check forms
Okay.
for the
I would
30,000
say that across
foot.
the board.
Yes,
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
okay,
Jeez, Louise,
And then I
guys.
do think, I would say from the larger picture.
right,
The variance one looked pretty good minus those things as it refers to itself, but I also looked at the site plan application. And that was one, I know that there was a question on there about whether we needed it. And that one, after reading it more, it seemed less clear to me. And it sort of seemed like the building department has that all covered. Also within the language of our forms and the ordinance. Site, like the levels are defined differently, and so I kind of feel like that's one we should just nix. So, but I mean, I don't know what the process is for removing a form, but
no, it goes along with what I was doing, which was besides the sign. one,
Yeah.
which, like I said, there are some corrections yet, but at least we're working on
Yeah,
the real stuff. And it goes to on the variance one, so I was assigned the subdivision asking for
Yeah.
a variance kind of thing.
right,
I looked up our variance form.
yeah,
And I think that could be coordinated to be one variance form, and
For
you
it
could
all.
ask for it
Right.
for property,
Right.
subdivision,
Right.
or whatever, a variance and an amendment form.
Right.
So I think we do
love that
coordinate.
idea.
So I'm with you on that one.
Cool, so
Okay.
maybe then we should.
I have
since
one.
this- Oh, yep, let's hear
You want, should we add
Oh.
one more to this little list?
it. Oh, sure.
I have land partition application. And I don't I don't even think the whole thing is necessary because essentially it's a minor subdivision. It is set up for a piece of land to be split into two pieces. And that is the same as a minor subdivision. And so it doesn't make any sense to me for it to even exist. And if somebody knows something I don't, I read through the state subdivision stuff, which blew my mind, and I probably will never have to be able to go back there without drugs or alcohol. And also I read through our subdivisions thing, everything. It just doesn't make any sense to even have it. So I just think it should be nixed.
I agree with that, Ann. Question for
I
you,
think
Brian,
I-
on the site plan application. Sorry.
Yeah,
Did you have the chance to check with Kristen or,
oh, no, I'll
That's
read
what
that,
I-
I'll do that, I'll put that on my list, sorry, no.
I think that could be
didn't
good for her to take a look at it and just make sure
Yeah.
that she's already doing
Yeah.
all of that. Or maybe
Yeah.
her
Because-
adopt that form.
Because it's in our zoning code that we need to get rid of too, that whole
Yeah.
site plan part.
Yeah.
Right,
That was one of my original assignments when we started looking at the zoning code, and I was ready when we get there to say, what the heck, we
Yeah.
don't, you
Yeah.
know,
I
so.
know, it is, like, it's,
Yeah.
the fact that it's even in the code is a little bit,
The building department needs to tell us what they need,
yeah,
and then the
Yeah.
code would say. Any submissions must meet requirements, contact building
Right.
department and
Yeah.
not, you know. Be,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I just started reading this piece of, this PowerPoint is what it is,
right.
today, sorry, I was like, what am I calling
Yes,
this? This flow chart is what it actually is.
Yep,
And I still don't totally understand this, because I don't understand the site plan review. I'm like, wait a second, so you need to have a site plan review if you're building a house? Because I thought if it was a single, so I think, yeah, I'll touch base with her and try to suss it out more. Maybe maybe if I can find, maybe I'll find some time to sit down with her. Yeah.
the PowerPoint you're referring to was
Yeah.
stuff we put together. We were so proud of ourselves. We didn't have a building department, so the planning.
Yeah,
and
oh,
zoning,
absolutely.
You know, planning and zoning had to put it together, a presentation of this is how you do things.
Right.
And now half of that, if not more.
Oh,
is
okay, so
gone.
this is not a
You know.
new document.
It is.
No.
Yes. Kristen and I have been working on it. I've been updating
I'm
it.
still
Oh,
confused
okay.
by it.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
this
it
is a
doesn't-
different one.
Okay,
Okay, sorry.
I will reach out with her, cause I can't make sense of why planning isn't, and anyway,
Yeah.
I will deal with that offline,
Great,
So quickly, I'll note on that.
yeah.
The reason planning and zoning review is required. It's not
Just say-
necessarily the whole commission. It's at least
Yeah.
the planning and
Just say-
zoning chair signing off on the plans so that at the end, when we see that certificate of occupancy, we can say, I know what this project was. I'm signing off on it. So
Yeah,
it's not
right, I remember
necessarily
that.
coming to the commission.
Yeah, so this is not a very, this is not a very clear way of. I see what you're saying, we had that conversation last time, I remember that now, about needing to have a signature. However, it still doesn't necessarily mean that you're triggering a full site plan review with the planning and zoning. And that, this sort of reads like that, but anyway, I'll do that offline, that makes a lot more sense, thank you.
Cool.
Clarified. All right, well then let's move on to our next, so then we'll just, I guess to finish that, we'll just continue to work on that and add it on to our next. Agenda, which brings us to number 4, which is items for next agenda. So I'd say we wanna probably continue our zoning code conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And then on top of that, I think it would be good to get, I'll try to talk to Chris, I'll talk to Kristen before then, and then we can all. The forums again, having a little bit more of an in-depth conversation.
Actually, yeah, that's good. And actually, what's gonna happen is, as we finish the zoning code, that will help us to do these forms.
Yeah.
Because we won't need some of them and we can update some of them. So maybe the forms can kind of sit by the side for a
Yeah.
minute. At least they can be updated to the right addresses. And
Yeah.
cool, okay.
Well, they're
That's a
also good
good call.
use, they're useful too for finding. They also can be really useful for finding the discrepancies and the problems in the code. Cause they can also, when you go read through the application, you're like, wait a second.
That's not what it
Like,
said.
why does it say this? Or like, cause that site plan review still lists 5,000 square feet as the cutoff for level 1 and 2. So it's like not even talking about anything that's referenced in.
In our
code,
code, great,
But
Okay.
anyway, hopefully I'll talk to Chris, hopefully we can just get rid of that one, so.
good.
Cool, any other items that people would like to add to the next agenda?
Yes, please. I want to just make sure I understand all of the future. September 17th will still be our planning and zoning work
session.
session. And then it seems to me we should plan a date, not to announce to the world, but for this presentation so that we have a carrot out there hanging for us to plan for that presentation. Is
Works.
November seem logical outside of the fact that we might have to have Malia and baby at it?
What's our November work session date? What would that be? That's second Thursday.
19th,
What?
November 19th.
Should we aim for that, or is it too close to the holidays? Or maybe actually it's not bad because everybody's still here and then leaving for the holidays.
Yeah.
That gives us 7 meetings between now and then, counting that one,
Correct.
so 6 meetings.
Pencil that as a tentative date and then at our next meeting or
Yeah,
via email confirm it,
sure.
just so that I can
Yeah, no, we
be a
should.
little more diligent with. And again, we don't all have to be there, but
Yeah, no, I know. That's cool.
that sounds like a good tentative date to me.
Good.
Yeah, good idea, Anne. And something. Oh, it might be worth adding an additional work session or 2 if we really want to hit that date. So as we're all back in town for the fall and, with things getting nice and busy, it might be nice to add another thing to our schedule and put a work
Sure.
session in to work on this a little bit more. Might be
That's
worth
not-
doing 2
that's not
work
terrible.
sessions per month until then.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because I keep getting more and more notes of add this, change that. I think the
Right.
ADUs are still mixed up, so. Whatever.
Yeah. Feels like
Okay.
once we start digging into it, we have to stop. So it could be nice to schedule a 2-hour work session potentially that we're just going to spend the whole time working on it and
Maybe
nothing else.
adding another hour up front, maybe
Yeah.
like a 5 to
Mhm.
7 or something. would
Oh,
be-
that
Might
could
be
be,
another way to do that without. grabbing
What if
another
we kept
day.
the 5 o'clock time on the 17th and just did a 2-hour work session since it's already in our schedules?
Goodness. Yeah, but
Oh.
only if I can bring popcorn.
yeah, I want. Okay, yeah,
That
well,
would work for me.
so 9:17 equals work session, but from 5 to 7. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, we can basically kill 40
We,
minutes talking
because
about
we
one.
always have to stop mid-sentence.
Right.
All right, great. Does that feel like good for next agenda? Anyone have any others? Anyone have any others? Going once, going twice, no others. Well,
Okay,
then that brings us to number 6.
I move to adjourn this meeting as some of us are going to try and attend the next meeting happening in Blanding by Zoom.
Well, then in that case, I hereby adjourn this Thursday, August 20th work session. Good work, everybody.
Good work. Thank you,
Thanks,
Brian.
everybody.
Brian.
Good
Thanks,
job.
everybody.
Have fun in Ohio.
Thank you.
All right.
Have fun. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We'll shut off all of that.
Now, do I kill the stream
Get out of
Yes.
everything.
via the live stream button? Stop.
No, as long as the meeting stops, you're good.
So
So
I
you're
just-
gonna wanna end the
I-
meeting for all,
Okay.
and then just close out of the